What's going on, everybody? It is a red Tuesday here in the pre-market. I'm sure you guys are all aware. Many markets down. Crypto kind of stabilizing here early, but basically Nasdaq really leading the pack. We talked about the US 10-year yield. We've been consistent on this since we saw that spike out last Friday. And realistically, is it something that we need to be concerned about? For me, I don't think so. Are we going to possibly see new lows? Yes, we'll be talking about those and more. And if we do see new lows, should we be getting excited about a serious, proper correction down to even better supports? I hope so, because that, as I said yesterday in the stream, would be Christmas come early. Shane says here 10-year yield just needs to go back to the 2%, so it's over and done with. Shane, I am in agreement with you. The 2-year going or the 10-year going to 2% would be a fantastic result from the perspective of that's probably where it'll end up. But, don't ask for it to happen too quickly. We want it to go, slowly there. Otherwise, it really would shock everything. This is what he's talking about, guys. He's basically saying it's broken out. We got close. We hit the 1.8. I've talked about the 2% being a big factor here for the inflation. And then, of course, if we do get it, that will be when the Nasdaq will most likely be bottoming out. If we continue to see strength, 1.8 or 2 should be kind of near the low. And we've demonstrated a few times that markets or yields at least tend to go up over time. So let's just do a quick study of what happened during the global financial crisis coming out and what's happening now. Let's read some chats here. We've got plenty of great chats coming in, so we'll read them in just a second. Let's move over to the global financial crisis. So this is the pickup initially in the yields. Then we see that drop off. Then we see a pickup. Then we see a drop off. Then we see another rally. And then it actually continued to decline over that period. So we've discussed the idea of basically a rally, a drop off, and then, of course, a pickup right around that 2. I don't want it above 2. Don't get me wrong. That wouldn't be ideal for the markets. We saw what kind of happened last time that occurred around this period here. We did have a little bit of weakness in the Nasdaq, but it doesn't tend to be long term. Remember, it's that initial shock that happens to the markets. The algorithms go crazy. Then as that becomes the new norm, it stabilizes. What do you guys think? Are you concerned about this yield getting above 2%? Let me know right now. I'm very interested to see what your thoughts. MJ says, at FX Evolution, is there a 7-day free trial on the Ultimate Trading Masterclass? No, there isn't, sir. There is for the community, but not for the course. I mean, you could read the course then. If you were a massive student and you wanted to do the whole thing, I'm sure you could pump it out over a week. It's a lot of content, but I'm sure you could do it. Marcian says, Tom, what is your opinion of these high dividend announcement stocks like LAUR now? I don't mean about dividends, as these are not a way to make money now, but about the price action pre-X date. I haven't really looked at too many div stocks. I mean, with dividends, I've got to say Australian market, best market for dividends. So I don't really look outside of the Australian market that much when we're talking about income. Australians would know what we're talking about here. We've got franking credit here. We have certain different tax structures that make very, very a good idea to potentially have dividend stocks. But maybe I'll look into that, Martin. Thank you very much. So it is red. Let's talk about the markets. Here's the yields. They are slightly rising, but today is probably more about the debt ceiling. People are like, oh, the US debt ceiling. Of course, the Republicans blocking it. I don't really want to go down the line of course, go into the politics side of it. But realistically, we all expected this to occur. It's happened almost every time. It's always a discussion point. They always push it out further and further out, block it. I think it'll be sorted. Let's see. What's the community saying? What do you guys think? Do you reckon they will extend it? What do you think? Will they extend it? Will they make it go higher? I'm going to go in the yes camp personally. So I'll go in the yes camp. How long will it take? A few weeks. Let's see what everyone else thinks. So we got Brad S says no. Aaron says they won't. PK7 says yes. Mjorn says they always do. Extend as always. Can't come to an agreement ever. Yes, they always do. Debt ceiling is always bull. They always extend, says Finken. The question is how long? Remember that one where they just kind of like left it for what, 60 days or something like that? It was pretty bad. Left it for ages. Someone says, I don't know what the US 10-year yield is. I probably should look that up, sir. It might be worthwhile ideally knowing about it. Let's move over to the Nasdaq because we're getting in on some important zones. Look at this, 14,970. So I kind of expect the market to open around 15K. So it's down 30 points underneath that. We're about less than an hour away from the open. I kind of expect it to open around 15K. So we've got, these are the kind of key supports and resistances. We've got 15,202. We know that was resistance, was support. We've got that massive, big, bullish candle that happened in the previous week. And then that came off around that 14,800 zone, which was also what we know is the 20 exponential moving average. This level is key for all people to be watching. If we close underneath this, what do you guys think happens next? So let's say we closed a weekly underneath 14,800 on the Nasdaq. How big of a deal is that? Remembering it is literally a pin bar. Look at this. Big rejection, full pin bar. If we close underneath, what do you think happens next, guys? Finken's probably got it correct. Around 14,000. Yes, that is correct. 14,000 would be the level. Big lower. Yeah. Correct. So if we did get underneath this zone, it's a pretty big technical sell. 14,000 becomes the next level, and I'll use the NDX to show you why, because that's the bottom of our glorious trend line. And if that happens, I would hope that is the low. So if we could get down into this trend line, wherever we hit it, whether it be 14.5, let's just quickly readjust this trend line. It seems to have lost its, there we go. Yeah, wherever it hits this trend line, I believe is kind of the bottom of this correction. It makes some sense. It's the most accurate thing you can really think of based on the current history. A big pullback down to it could be around 8 to 10%. It's very consistent with most nice pullbacks. Remember, a good pullback should go around that distance. There's an 11%, another 11%, 8%. Pullbacks usually around that 8 to 10% in size. Christmas for Tom, that's right, Jordan, it would be. I would be pretty happy with that, around that 14.1. Mohammed says, would you not say there's support at 14.5? Oh, absolutely I would, sir. Absolutely I would. Why do you think I've got 14,500 here? So it goes 14.8, next zone that you'd want to be trading to, 14.5, next zone about 14,000, and then we should spike off that if it is to actually weaken below 14.8. And that's a big if, because we've never closed underneath the weekly 20 this entire bullish pandemic run. So look at this, the entire time, guys. 20 buy, 20 buy, underneath 20 closes on the 20, buy. Underneath 20 closes above the 20, buy, and then we've got, of course, the purchase off the 20 again. This is the mean reversion. It's rare that it goes underneath this, but during a bigger correction, the Nasdaq is not unknown to have a go for the 50 exponential moving average, the blue one. So we really could be in here for some excitement in the market should we get through the 14.8. Today's level to watch exactly on the open. If you're a bull, you're going to be wanting to watch absolutely carefully on both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. I would get in on the smaller time frames. I'd be on the 5 minute, the 1 minute, looking for all the things we talk about in terms of reversals. You're basically looking for lightning bolts. You're looking for this type of thing here. Breaks through there. You start taking some little longs. And that's because what it's doing is it's basically saying to you, okay, we are going to be supported by the 15,000 on the Nasdaq, by the 4,400 on the S&P 500, both key supports. If we close underneath these levels, significant time frame, maybe like an hour, 2 hour, keep watching the charts, obviously use your systems, then the next level is 14.8. So we got some clear zones. Nasdaq, 15,000, big resistance now at 15.2, 15.150, 15.2. If we close below, 14.8 seems to be the area we're looking through. Lieutenant Dan says, no worries. It will create a great buying opportunity. Yes. YouTube user says, Tom, you're the best YouTuber. Thank you very much, man. Lots of learning. Thank you. No worries, man. Would you mind doing a deeper dive into AMC and its option strike flow? Yeah, I can pull some strike on it. Why not? Let's have a look. I'll pull it from the community resource now. Just get AMC for you. What are we? 110. Oops. 1 second. 10/1/2021. There are options all over this. The problem with using options call walls and what I usually discuss on something like AMC. So this is the open interest here for the October 1st expiry this Friday. Is traditionally in most markets, you'll notice I use options a little bit differently. I'm looking for what we call put walls and call walls on stocks that are unusual. And then I'm looking for my technical analysis to hit those resistances and then potentially take some profit off or descale my position. So if we have a call wall and the market's going up into that call wall, then I expect it to usually expire underneath this level, especially if it's an outlier point, which we've shown quite a few. Hover around there, and then the next week for it to be allowed through once the option has expired. With AMC, it's a different scenario because what you're really looking for is a huge amount of calls coming in, pressuring the short squeeze. Because remember, it's a heavily shorted stock. You're looking for huge amounts of calls, huge amounts of leverage, and huge amounts of buying. So when you look at a option strike like this, it's not going to be as simple as just using the standard strategy we do. We're actually looking for a huge amount of calls to come in. What is for sure, though, is when you have these types of ridiculous calls up here, they're very unlikely to get paid off. So oftentimes, if you have huge amounts of calls on these ends, what ends up happening is the market might move towards them because then they get stacked and more and more and more and more and more retail start to buy it here. And then it will just hover underneath and expire worthless. This is very difficult to read. I would not suggest that you read these types of ones. And this week, I'm not seeing anything clean here. Or if I was making the most amount of money, if I was Wall Street, I'd obviously basically do nothing and leave the price where it is. And that would create maximum pain. So if you did nothing, then it would be good. But every week I've ever looked at these options, it's always green. It's always bullish. It's always got huge amounts of calls on it. So we'll do a little bit more of that when it becomes worthwhile covering. I'll give you an example here of Apple so you can see the difference. Let me give you Apple. Okay, look at this. So much better. Apple, much more straightforward. Ridiculous amount of calls at 150. What's Wall Street's best interest? Make sure price is below 150, a very low amount of puts in comparison to the calls. What do you think, guys? Are they going to want to put it above 150 by the end of the week? If I was them, no, because I would love to take all of this money plus all of the extra on top of it. It would be more preferred, that's for sure. Tom, are we about to have another positive FOMO event since it is a real good December? I think that, look, the markets in the US tend to always be very neutral or very bullish, bearish, and all over the place between the months of September, October into like the middle of November. But November, December, I never bet against the US market in those periods unless we've got some unknown big fundamental event, e.g. a few years ago where we had the trade war discussion. Of course, all the tech got busted through. Christmas rallies are real. It's the most likely thing. And of course, we also have Thanksgiving in America that tends to be a very good time of the year to be in. So all of those are good. Let's now take a look at a couple of stocks here. Let's begin with Tesla. So Tesla's down 1.13%. It's on our first level of resistance becomes support. So let me just show you here on the daily or the 4-hour what we're talking about. Here's the previous resistance. You'll notice it right over here. That's what we're looking for the market to come back down to. If there are buyers, there's going to be some purchases here. I prefer down here around the 760. That would be fantastic. because 800 really should have been a profit target for some scaling if you were trading it. But yeah, both of these levels are support. You can see it. Previous resistance becomes support. And if you like Tesla as well, 760 becomes support. They're the clear zones that I'm seeing at this stage. Big Dipper says the rising 10-year is putting pressure on the QQQ while helping IWM. Yes, all the small financials will be helped. The rising dollar index is putting pressure on the SPY. Also, Goldman Sachs raised its oil price. Come on, Big Dipper. We don't care about Goldman Sachs raising their $90 oils. They do that every second day. You know what I mean? They do it all the time. Yeah, no worries, Dave. I'll have a crack at doing that, man. I will certainly set around it. But I don't think that the $90 oil, we've been bullish oil recently. We're hitting into that 77. That's our aim. After that, we'll look for the price action. When banks start calling massive calls, I don't really get bullish. I get a little bit, I'm going to be a little bit careful here. I don't like it when they do that. You are correct about the rest of it, though. IWM gets helped a lot by the US 10-year. And that's why it was up yesterday. I got a question from MJ. He says, FX Evolution is the ultimate trading masterclass suitable for newbies who don't yet know technical terms and have little to no experience. Absolutely, man. It's not called the ultimate for no reason. If you're a beginner with no experience, it's better for you because you don't have preconceived wrong or probably wrong ideas about things. Beginner, intermediate to advanced. It takes you through the whole steps. It goes through a phenomenal amount of information. And yeah, we've really put it together over a lot of years. So yes, it is made for you. It's made for literally everybody. If you're wanting to take it a little bit more up. Thank you very much to the 966 viewers joining us this morning. Appreciate you guys. Give us an upvote if you can. It does help us out on the stream. And we'll probably hand it over some viewer questions in just a second because we've covered the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 from some key zones that I feel. And I think these are the ones I'm watching the most today. We'll move over to crypto here, as we always do. We'll talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin and my favorite, the old KSM. I love the KSM, guys. I love the poker dots. They're not too bad. Look, Bitcoin weakness here. It is getting bashed around probably because of the market weakness coming in. You have that 41K support. And I tell you what, better damn well hold. Because if it doesn't, oh man, Bitcoin, it's so sick looking. I like these rejections. It has to hold here, guys. If it doesn't, I'm not even kidding you. I think 38,000 for Bitcoin after that. 41, 38, 36. Does anyone else have other levels? They're my kind of key zones. 41, 38, 36. What do you guys think? Which one's most likely? Ethereum, a little bit stronger. We've got 32K on the resistance. You'll notice the moving averages here, the 20 and the 50 about to cross down. Still has those bullish wicks that were there, 26.5 kind of being the big key support. And yeah, it needs to be above 32. 32, it's a happy days. Put a bit of smiley face back on and we're like loving crypto. But at this point, a bit shaky. ADA looks horrible on a chart, got to say. Look at the trend line here through these weeks. Keep watching that one, ADA fans. Trend line, rejection. We talked about the weakness here. Underneath 2, it'll fall through a floor. It'll go like 2 to 180, I think, very quickly, and maybe even further weakness on Cardano. KSM, on the other hand, looks a lot better. It's trying to reject 305. Very strong pickups here. Much, much better. Much, much better. Bradley B, $5. Started the market in March. Took the ultimate course and now doing options course. Noob friendly for sure. Yeah, we're trying to simplify it down to kind of like a university style where it's really written from not from a scholarly standpoint. That sounds ridiculous, but it's written from an easy to understand standpoint. Trying to break it down there. Trishan says 23K BTC. Please no, Trishan. That would make me a little sad. I might buy some more, sure. but don't put me down to 23K BTC. That would suck. Huey says, hey, Tom, can we have a look at XLF? Sure, man. It's the financial sector. You should usually be looking at these sectors. I think we might start covering them a little bit on the live streams. Would you guys like it if we cover sectors a little bit more than certain stocks? It then gives, if we cover sectors, we find key support resistance breakouts. What you can then do is you can dial in on that sector and find your favorite finance, find your favorite technology, find your favorite healthcare, and then realize that the whole sector is coming with you. The financial sector is near the peak, man. So we've got that 39 resistance. Obviously, you're looking for that. You'll notice the last couple of days, guess what's being written in the paper or in the online? Bull. And then they say financial stocks are cheap. That's what's being written. Because of this rally, they're all writing articles about that. You're looking at 39 plus on the closure. Pullback, I would prefer the pullback trade here if that's what you're looking for. And then, picking up whatever your favorite banks are in that sector. That would be a good zone. You can see some of our previous TA when it closed above here. We obviously set targets around that zone. And when it went bearish down here, you would have been a little bit scared. But that's the thing. You have to be very fast if you're trying to short the market. You have to be very, very fast. 5K from Alan. Oh, Alan, you're really harsh on Bitcoin. Really, really harsh. Let's have a look at XLV for a second here. Healthcare sector. Look at the weakness here in the healthcare sector. Now, I'm a big bull on the healthcare sector over the medium term. So what I mean by that is if you look at the healthcare sector and you consider where we are, let's say, in the cycle of the markets, the healthcare sector really tends to outperform other sectors over the longer term, especially certain, healthcare stocks. Now, it went on a great run. We had that big bullishness. We've been very bullish the healthcare sector really from April all the way into when we neutralized around that August period. It's weakened to the 20 moving average. So if you like the healthcare sector, this isn't the worst zone ever. But you'll notice it's pulled back once, twice to the 50. I would love it here a lot more. Around that 122, fantastic zone for the healthcare sector. Deborah Smith says that course will be under my Christmas tree this year. I should send you like a little picture and you can print it and put it on. put the little thumbnail on like a little present box. That'd be funny. Take a video footage of it. Thank you very much, Deborah. We look forward to having you in the group. Mohammed Al Khalifa, sorry. I always mispronounce your name, man. And he says the course is really good and worth every dollar you spend on it. Appreciate it, Mohammed. Thank you very much. And Jay Nivell says, Tom, big thanks on the course as well. Oh my God, you guys are going crazy. You turned my trading around completely last year. That's good, man. I had big losses on Tesla, didn't get included in the S&P, and when expected, and then they all tanked, all green since August the 1st. And that's probably because, Jay Nibble, and you can tell us in the chat, you've been nimble, you've been fast, and you have no particular really care about the market sentiment right now in the weaker months. And I think that's big brain of you, sir. That is big brain of you. Why is Roku so weak? Because it's which I can't really speak whether I think it's a good company or not. I've never owned Roku. I've missed out on glorious gains. Don't get me wrong. I've never even traded it. Maybe that makes me stupid, but yeah, I don't understand the stock. I mean, it doesn't matter when you trade it. You don't need to understand the stock, of course. But yeah, Roku is an enigma to me why it even became worth so much. That's just how it goes sometimes like this. That's right. Conscious investing. I do. I certainly do. But we need to quickly scroll back here and just make sure I pick up. I've got Square coming in as well as a request. We'll do it in a second. Drew Catchings, $2. Can you take a look at Boss Token? That's a cool name. Boss Token. Is it actually... Wait. What is this? How do I pick... What is the code for Boss, man? Dave, if you can get me the code for Boss, then we'll do it. Shizzy Wiznut says, I would like to pick up some more ADA at $1.20. That would be pretty good level. I agree. Before it takes off, I can see ADA at about $5. It's not unrealistic. By the end of the year, that's pretty crazy. I do think November will be a good month, though. Damon Sahani, Australian $2.99. ASX 200. What's the next month look like, man? All right, let's have a quick look at this index. It's a little bit different to the American indices. It does still weaken, very, very similar, but a little bit different companies. You've got a lot of energy in this index. You've got a lot of stock finances. You've got iron ore, of course, and materials. Look, this is my box structure for the ASX. I actually like picking up in this zone, and what I'm looking for is weakness into around this area here. So down to that 60, kind of don't feel like it's going to go under 6,800. And what I'm doing is I'm basically just looking for it to weaken and then get that little turnaround, and then I'll be picking up some more Australian stocks. What it's looking like right now is very similar to the US market. We've got a big bullish, let me just quickly get rid of that phone, a big bullish rejection, followed by any closure on the weekly underneath this 7,200 zone, and then I think 7,000 and 6,800. So these 200-point levels, I'll be looking for turnarounds. And the whole time I'm in here, I call this the slight value zone. Okay, that's slight value. There is no real value in the markets anymore, so it's all slight value. But yeah, slight value zone is one of those areas I do like. Why silver and gold being pounded? DXY, man. DXY, mega breakout alert. Mega. Mega. My goodness, look at it. Whoo! Hot damn. This is serious, guys. This weekly is serious. A monster double bottom, full on. It's there. You guys can see it. It's not hard to see. There's the resistance. The resistance again closed on it. Imagine if we get that weekly close out above. Long leg doji, 50 and 20 about to cross in the weekly. It's not a joke. It's not even a fire drill. This doesn't happen that often. The crosses, so remember the cross happens after that candle, leads to further selling. The cross above leads to further buying. The cross below leads to further selling. You've got to think about it from the dollar index standpoint. If it actually crosses, it's a big deal on the weekly, and it tends to lead to money flow coming through. So that's one of the major reasons that gold and silver are also getting tanked, plus 10-year, plus all of these other concerns. But yeah, what do you guys think about this dollar index? Wowzers. Crazy. LJ, $5. G'day, mate. Inverse head and shoulders forming on the Suppen. Thoughts? I began scaling in already at 26.65. The Suppen. SUPN is the code here. Inverse head and shoulders. Oh, I do see it. Even though I'm on the weekly, I can totally see what you're thinking about. Yeah, bro. Absolutely, LJ. You are correct, sir. And it's a very, very decent pattern indeed. You've done well. And why I say you've done well is because people send me head and shoulders. They're not head and shoulders, guys. But this is one. This is a head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Some characteristics you want to look for in these. Right shoulder being higher in this case. So not as low as the left shoulder. That shows bullish momentum already coming into the pattern. Because remember, it's not about the pattern. It's about the price action and what is the story of the charts telling us. And this is a fantastic story. 20 moving average holds, series of higher lows, consolidation coiling, not as low as the left shoulder, lots of wicks getting rejected against. And if you get a closure above this, what happens? It is allowed to move in the participation phase towards the next level. And if you take that distance, let's do it together. The Suppen, that distance is going to proof. And that's fantastic. I love proofs. And what we mean by a proof is when you get the pattern and the pattern goes straight into a resistance or a support like that. Bam. Fantastic, dude. Well done. Oh, it's through it. Yes. I like a lot of things about this. I hope it works, but don't lose faith. If it doesn't, it's a higher statistical style of chance. Now, do I know what this stock is? Not really. Do I know if it works technically? I haven't done enough research on it yet, but it certainly has the hallmarks of whether that was a currency, whether it was a crypto, whether it was Tesla, whether it was the index. It's good in most cases. The boss one it's on CoinGecko for now. Coin Market Cap is listing next week, then Trading View later. I can't get it on Trading. CoinGecko. Have I even been there before? All right, let's just quickly refresh this and then I'll replace this screen. So here are the big bits of news for the day, guys. We need to quickly understand that today we have Fed Chair Powell coming out to annoy the market. He's here. He just is like a tarantula. He won't go away. There he is, Fed Chair Powell testifying. Some other FOMC people coming out and having a chat. What's he going to say? The same thing on repeat, in my opinion. Should it really move the market? Probably not. But maybe there's something in there that'll be a little bit more. Fed Chair Powell tends to the market weakens. He talks, it weakens a little bit more, and then by the end of the day, it usually goes up a bit. I'm just going to call it a neutralized event. I'm going to say you're coin flipping on Powell. Coin flipping how the market works. What do you guys think? You got any stats for me on how the Fed Chair Powell usually is affecting the markets? So we need to go to CoinGecko. And we need to send the BOSS token. BOSS. Crypto BOSS. Oh my God, it's another doji. Look at this, guys. It's literally another doji. It's a gangster doji. Well, because we can't really get charts, it's a very hard question to ask. I mean, it's in a consolidation pattern. If it does get on other networks and not everyone's aware of that, then you know that is generally a bullish thing. There's a bit of resistance through this line chart here, which is acting as support. What I'd be looking for is if that's like a base and this is a little bit of resistance, I would be looking for it to close above there. And then you practice scaling. And then, of course, get above here and you practice further scaling and you're looking for it to go up. Thank you very much for sending it through. Not sure if I condone such random coins, but whatever. If you like it, man, you like it. That's all good. Matthew Harris says, Fed Chair Powell will talk about using all the tools. Yes, the tools. We've got to use the tools. But then he won't use them, so we can talk about using the tools again in the future. Shizzy Wiznut says, Boss is a scam. I don't know anything about it, guys. I was just asked to look at it. It has a picture of Dogecoin. He is a lizard, says ACK. That's not very nice, ACK. He's a reptile, you think? Can't get through all the comments here, but thank you very much for everyone that's messaging. And we got SEC $200. 200 SECs. Thank you very much, Jonas. Amazon, any views? Let's have a look for you. I'm sure a few people will be interesting on this one. Old Amazon. 3355. Oh, similar to the Nasdaq. So what that means, close underneath here, very bad. We probably make a new low because the Nasdaq will go lower, and we're looking then for that 3180 level. I'm very interested in Amazon at that zone. So right now, you're going to open on support. This was a previous buy in the last session. As you know, this is exactly where you need it to hold if it's going to hold. But if the Nasdaq gets through like a 14.8, we're going to get below this point and move to 3181. There's not much else you can really get from this chart. Let's just go the 2 hour. Again, showing the importance of this. If you want to know if you're out of the market and you just think, okay, well, maybe I don't want to buy it here. Maybe I don't want to buy this exact dip. This is a lightning bolt in the works should it come back up. So if this market goes like this and then recovers and then gets above 3440, upon closing above 3440, that's where a lot of traders, I believe, will come in. So if that's the scenario, very good. If the scenario happens and it closes below this point, I feel like we're going to new lows here on Amazon and getting around that 3200. And at that point there, I'd be very interested in picking up some positions It's a very good support. And then your next heavy support is going to be around 3,000. Obviously, a huge buy zone for Amazon. Both of these zones make a lot of sense. Your warning sign is going to be a bearish close today underneath this zone, Jonas. Good luck. Good luck. And thank you for the donation. Scott Morgan, $5. Thanks, Scott, man. You've been having a rough time, hey? How do you research to see if a stock trades technically like you mentioned? Top 3 on the checklist. Look on the left-hand side of the screen. Look on the left-hand. No, the way you do it, man, is you have to think about understanding how. So say you're reading a chart. Okay, let's take in consideration here Apple for a second, or even Tesla. We'll look at Tesla. So if we're thinking about whether a chart trades technically, you can tell by the left-hand side because you're looking for specific things. Does it hold a trend line like this does? See how on the left-hand side it's held a trend line? That's a big tick. When it breaks a resistance, does it tend to actually break out of a resistance and rally to a next level? We know that Tesla has big rallies in it. When it creates a double bottom and breaks above the double bottom like it did here, does it rally to the next resistance? Yes. Does it then find weakness at the next resistance? Yes. So it's all about just nuancing when you're looking at the left-hand side, does it make some kind of sense? If I go to a currency like maybe the pound CAD, what you'll notice with the pound CAD is it's a lot less technical because it's stuck often in neutralization. So it neutralizes a hell of a lot of the time, obviously in a massive short right now, but because of oil and the CAD reaction to oil. But this is a very sideways, very choppy market. If you're going to get involved in that, I would personally say that is a big X. I would not trade it. I would not look at it. I would not technically trade it. It doesn't break out. It's not in a trend. It doesn't have any idea what it's going to do. And if you look at a chart and you don't know what it's doing, then don't trade it. Maybe invest in it, but don't trade it. If you have no idea what a chart's doing, top number 1 checklist, don't trade it. So learn from the left would be what I would say. Learn from the left. My top checklist, look for patterns. If patterns work, yes. If it's sideways all the time and chopping and you don't know where direction is, don't take it. Don't even consider it. Look more at the investable properties of it. And then the third checklist for stocks, take a look at the volume and market cap size. The reality is a penny stock, why we don't cover them very often here, a 100 million company, 500 million company, do not tend to trade by technical indicators and those things. It's all about psychological points and basic moving averages. You can use moving averages also to figure out whether something trades technically. So remember, at this holding the 20, then it stops holding the 20 heaps. It barely is following any path whatsoever. Hopefully that helps. Jan Lupo says, lols, Tom, SoFi is a massive double bottom. Let's have a look for you. I don't like massive double bottoms. I like, quick double bottoms. Quick. Take a look. Didn't we talk about this? We've got the resistance. You're saying the double bottom is, I guess, between this and here, and then that is a peak. It absolutely is a peak. What's the left-hand side taught us here? Left-hand side has taught us when it broke this peak, at least most recently, it rallied. It then pulled back and it found support there and rallied again. So it rhymes and reasons that if it closes above here again, what's most likely? A good rally, and you've got 2 really key resistances as well. I'm not sure I'd call it full on a double bottom, but it doesn't really matter. Again, it's about the price action. So would I like that or that? I feel like that's not a bad zone. And then the other zone would be right at the peak. And I would watch it carefully through here. If you're not sure which zones to go with, you can use volume profiles or you can go line chart to give you the closes. And that will help you to make better, more informed decisions. See the close, line charts, see the closes. Now I can see them with my own eye because obviously I've done this way too much. But yeah, that's how I do it. Line chart's a great beginner way of figuring out where you want to be looking in terms of support resistance. Look, we're 20 minutes away from the market. We're down 1.24%. We'll cover the indices coming back into it. So we'll roll back into that for anyone that's joining us. Thanks very much to the 1,131 viewers right now. Appreciate your thumbs up, guys. Appreciate the support. It's good. That's a good looking trade. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Not bad. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody's super chats. I think I got them all. Thank you very much, guys. Let's read some more chats here. John S. says you're about to see bonds have a crazy short squeeze. All selling done after hours and no volume during trading sessions. It's a shakeout. TLT to 205 by November. Oh, okay. So this is TLT. What basically John's talking about is this thing going really heavy up. I'm not sure if it can go up if the 10-year continues to strengthen, but you are on support here in the morning. We'll find out. It's pre-market underneath. Next level is 140. Yeah, that's not sure about the 10-year, but I hope you're right for your own sake. That would be good. VIX, of course, spiking heavily. Don't really technically trade the VIX, as you guys know. I just like underneath 16, looking for that bullish intention on the VIX. At this point, it's stuck above 20, which is kind of like bears in control of the market right now. AB says, is Fiverr a buy now, Tom? And Xander Ryan says BHP. We'll do those in a second. Let's have a look at Fiverr. If I remember rightly, it was slightly better than we thought. I think Fiverr's been a buy since we closed above here, man. And we probably missed that, and then it came back down. Yeah, Fiverr's in the buy zone if you so like it, because you have pulled back now. You've got the 20 and the 50. You know where your kind of base support should be, and you're looking for it to fill the gap to 226. I'm not sure I love the company, but yeah. BHP is an iron ore company. Let's have a quick look at the iron ore. Very weak. Super in the support zone at this point, 36.87. This is a zone, but we haven't seen a turnaround. So with BHP, you have to play it very specific ways. It's a good kind of sold put candidate should you want to take stock on in this level, get very high implied volatility. If you want stock, it could be a good positioning. But if you want to pick it up, you're looking for turnarounds. And obviously make your own decisions, guys. I can't do it for you. I cannot do it for you on those types of things. Take a look at Square. Opening up down 1.9%. We'll do the quick fire now. We'll go through every one of the stocks we're covering. 253. Middle of nowhere land, really, for Square. I have liked the last couple of days of bullishness in terms of the base, the breakout, the pullback back to that, and you're looking for that rally. If you like Square, sure. It's not a very super solid type of technique, type of level here. But it's still bullish as long as it holds above 245. Apple, this is more of a trader's stock as well. So Apple opening at 143.44, completely in limbo. If it doesn't buy heavily in the open, there really could be some weakness here. Close under 144, I believe exposes 141. And my bigger plan on Apple is consistent with the Nasdaq idea, which is basically we get underneath this zone and we move towards 135. And I believe somewhere around 135 is going to hit our beautiful trend line. And that puts a smile on my dial if it gets there. That would be fantastic. So much for the crypto rip. Yeah, no crypto rip yet. Really need... I mean, you need like a 3,200 plus ETH close, but there's huge amounts of news coming out about crypto every day, which is killing your technicals. It really is. Christopher Weltner says crypto is trash right now. It's definitely aggressive. Lovely stop hunt and BTC and ETH. Let's have a look at the BTC. Oh, you mean stop for shorts? Not sure if it's a stop for buys. Gordon Poljak, Sec 109. Thank you very much, man. Hey, Tom. Just wanted to say thank you for your educational content. Love your TA. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much. Let's keep going through the rapid fire. Google. I still don't like it at this price, but I want to hold more. More Google, I say. The internet is only just getting started for the ads of the Googles. Look at this trend line. Holy moly. It's just like the S&P 500. It's so aggressive when it broke out. And to think it was sitting for ages. Remember, September, we were sitting at $1,400 on Google. A double up since then. A big company. Even in November, even in February. And look at it now. I feel like there will be a pullback on this stock. It is weakening. From what we always teach, we've kind of got this lightning bolt concept coming through, similar to the Nasdaq. Peak, trough, lower peak. If we close under here, oh yeah, then we get our full correction and we can pick up the Googles. End phase, let's do it. End phase has an okay day yesterday, still needed above 160. Unfortunately, it's just kind of hovering around that 150 as support. Nothing much to go off there. RK, right on support. You'll notice it keeps buying off this zone. And we keep resisting this zone. So if you're wondering what's going on with RK, it's just trapped in these two areas, guys. Breakout either way should be amazing. Thank you very much again, Gordon. Beam, one of my favorite CRISPR stocks. Hovering around, nothing much. Edit. Looks pretty weak here. Close below here is very bad for Edit. Next stop, this level here, 200. So around $50. If you like Edit and you want that type of stock, I'd be watching the $50 like a hawk. That will be a good zone. CRISPR still holding its support as much as it can. We've got SPLK. How's SPLK going? Just hovering right there against our inverse head and shoulders. Nothing's changed. CRM, nothing's changed. BABA. Watch this level, guys, this 154 if it does get hit. Otherwise, we're looking for further weakness into the 130. That'll be interesting. Twillo. If you like Twillo, 330. I'm looking for a breakout of 353 into 370, and then 370 will be, this is what I call a double bottom, double bottom. So you got the double bottom here. And then you've got great consolidation here, followed by a breakout proofing into this peak. I love these because what do they allow you to do? They allow you to scale in. And someone in the community, let us know right now. Has your trading changed forever since you've been scaling? Let us know. Poor CRISPR can't find any momentum. Yeah, that's why if you're stuck in a stock like that, you don't want to necessarily buy the dip. If you're a trader, you want to spot the momentum breakout and take that momentum. This is the time to buy BABA. Well, it's getting pretty damn close, but it's still a falling sword. I mean, you could have thought it was time to buy BABA 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, and a month and a half, and you'd still be fairly wrong. That's the problem with the falling sword. Nvidia down 2.27%. It's actually in the buy area almost again. About that 208 is buy area, 211 in the pre. So you could see some potential there. Pins. The chart's still horrible, but we'll keep looking at it. Roku, just sickly weak, this thing. Etsy. See, Etsy doesn't care. It just keeps kind of trudging up higher and higher, barely. DKNG, still in that kind of zone, looking for turnaround. Airbnb, I guess it's hit very close to our profit target. Our profit target was 180, so we're very close to that now. Still looking for the bullishness. I watched an Airbnb ad today, and let me tell you, it was terrible. It was terrible, guys. The Airbnb ad, I thought it was an Apple ad because it was so weird. You know, like those Apple ads are just strange sometimes. And you're like, what the hell are they doing? The Airbnb ad was honestly terrible. And that doesn't make me happy. When you're a stockholder and you see terrible ads. Does anyone else seen some terrible Airbnb ads recently? Intel came to the party yesterday and it's going to take the party off. You know, it's not a bad candidate in many ways for option strategies. This is a great credit style stock at these points. So remember, you might look at this chart and you think, oh, I don't want to buy Intel. But there's a good credit relating strategies that you can do when you believe it's basing and you believe that there's a seasonal that comes in November and other good technical reasons to be potentially long in it. So that's the thing about options. Once you realize that there's many ways to make money from a market, whether it literally does nothing, you can make a lot of money when it does nothing. In fact, you can make the most amount of money when it does nothing. You make a lot of money when it goes up, and you can make a little bit of money also when it goes down. Once you realize you can extract from all situations, you'll start to see the market very differently. That's why options can be pretty good. Would you trade leaps? Not personally, but you can do them. There's no problems with that. AB says, I'll buy Barber heavy again when it gets to $200. Fair enough, man. John S, $5. Tom, long-term analysis on AG silver mines. Okay, man. We'll do it in a second. Got the spot. The spot getting into the buy zone if you're interested in this type of stock. Netflix. Nice. Still got a lot of rally in it, this Netflix. I mean, my aim for Netflix is like 650. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a while. See how Netflix isn't down much? I feel like it's partially undervalued, if there's such a thing. NVAX down pretty heavy. Biotech obviously got bashed. PLTR right on support here into the open. 27.30 was about the buy zone. So if you're in PLTR, watch the 20 daily, guys. That's everything to it. The 20 daily must buy off that zone. And if it doesn't, it's bad. Very bad. PayPal, hovering, not doing much good stuff. Probably a trend line there you could draw in the smaller time frames. The Twitters, maybe a pullback back to 62 might be interesting. Zillow, nothing yet on support. AMD, nice breakout actually. So clearly these semiconductors, AMD and Intel, both have some money coming into them. Increased spike in volume, broke above the resistance. If the market does turn, I would expect AMD and Intel to actually do quite well. It's that little bit of nuance that you'll see. Sometimes during a bad day or the market's going well, you see a strength. Then during the bad day, of course, it's going to come down as well. But if you get a good day, it goes up just as tremendously. How many times have you seen that in a stock? Think of Snowflake, where it had great price action, got dumped hard during one session, and then all of a sudden the next day it was up and flying. Think of Snap recently as well. We saw market weakness. Tesla recently, market weakness. Snap and Tesla barely cared. They went down a little bit and then came back like a ballistic. Take a look at those other ones we found. LRCX, no closure above 617. Today down 2.22%. So nothing there yet on that one. ADSK currently at 290 pre-market. Got a nice bullish hammer here. So just looking for that little further closure to start scaling heavily into that kind of thing or scaling into it. That'd be good. And TTD still in the buy zone. 74.11 puts it right on the support here into the open. Great base formation, heaps of moving averages. As long as it holds that zone, you'd think it's pretty good. Moderna, let's have a look at Moderna. Weak. Bad close. That's a bad close. See the support, closure below. Remember, wick is one thing, closure is another. That was bad, setting up really bad. Feel like a 380 on this, back to the 50. I think all the biotechs look weak, actually. Thoughts on the US government shutdown? They'll sit there and talk about it for a while and then eventually get it sorted. Look, it's either get sorted or the whole thing's stuffed. And I don't think that's really a solution. They have to do it, but there'll be a lot of whinging, whining. Who knows? They might close it down. If it keeps pushing the market down, I'm going to see it as, personally, I'm going to see it as an opportunity. Obviously, you guys need to do your own risk assessment. But I don't really have many thoughts about it. I don't want to get political. I just think that it's purely, posturing on both sides. They know what they've got to do. They'll do it. Eventually, it's going to become a really monstrous problem. We all know that. But the chance of default this time around is low. I think that would be a disaster, actually. A really big disaster. AG, you want the longer term opinion on it. We've got 5 minutes till the market opens, so we'll look at our indices in just a second. I mean, you don't really want to do your analysis too much on AG. You want to do it more on silver. So from an AG standpoint, on support, there are lower points it can go. Let's take a look at silver, though. And you'll notice here, there's 2180. There's a point of kind of very scary level for silver coming up. 2180, there's nothing really holding it up. Arguably maybe 20 on the left-hand side here. Otherwise, 19. Can you imagine? So if it got under here, silver has the potential to go to $19 an ounce. Remember, everyone was stacking it over here and going crazy. The manipulation on silver and gold is pretty real. And if it gets underneath this zone, I could honestly see the $19. The 19. What do you guys think? Anything? 19, 20? Anyone bullish silver at these levels? It's the right level if you're going to be. You're basically looking for long leg doji to close above. And if it closes below, 20 and 19 get exposed. Percy Henderson says default isn't happening at all, lol. Yes. Correct. TDD Head and Shoulders. What's this? I don't know what that is. All right, let's go into the indices here. Our thoughts on the Nasdaq, our thoughts on the S&P 500. So we expected to open around 15K. We are going to. This is the first support here. So if you're a bull in the market this morning, look for those little turnaround signs. Let's have a look at the futures coming in. Let's go down to the 15-minute charts. 15K all important. A little bit of resistance here at 1550. Slightly higher lows. Maybe closure above here. Real market opens, get a nice wick, move up a little bit early. Get underneath 15,000, close with an hour. 14.8 is my next target. So underneath 15,000, we get a closure. I think that's kind of bearing towards that 14.8 support level. And if we get kind of like a nice lightning bolt in the start of the session, then you're looking for that 15,150. So 15,150 or 15,200 as the resistance. That's kind of the Nasdaq thoughts. Have a quick look at the US 500. Similar idea. They're trading pretty similar. 4,400 being the key major support we hit just before. Now it's bulling. Closed maybe above 4,420. Pushes in towards the 444. Have a look at the daily. So you're looking for it to go to this level and struggle a little bit. So if you are bullish, that's your thoughts. If you're bearish, you're just looking for it below 4,400 closure, and then you're looking to short that beast out and be quick and fast. Ideally 4,360 and 4,300 flat. They're the two. They're all the levels I'm looking for on the US 500, etc. Tesla coming in slightly weak, but again, look at the bullishness in Tesla. Market's down 1.16%. Tesla itself down 0.53%. 780 support currently, and then 762 support after that. They're the two key levels on Tesla. All right, ding, 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 ding. We're open, guys. Let's watch Apple on the side here on the left-hand side. Let's go through some of these stocks here. Everything comes in red. So red, 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 red. Square down 2.24. FANG stocks looks to be down about 1.7 average. 1.6 average. Tesla doesn't want to go down. It's trying to get bullish straight away here in the session. Barber slightly bullish. Doesn't mean it's glorious though. Just remember that. And everything else red. AMD, where was that? AMD not down that much. Where's Intel? How much? Intel's only down about 0.7. And the market's recovered now to 15,029 on the Nasdaq and 4,416 on the S&P. These are some of the key zones that I've got up here. And Nasdaq zones, there you go. There's the futures high. A lot of people will be looking for a closure out of. Bitcoin going brr. Yeah, Bitcoin's printing well. KSM's doing good. Ethereum must close 3,200 plus to really get bullish. So it's early morning. It's retail in the markets. We've got our resistance sitting here at the 15,050 basically on the Nasdaq. That's the resistance printed during the futures market. Closure above, retest back down. Potential little bit of bull there. Tesla doesn't care. It's going to go and test that 800, it looks like. Ozark Granite LLC says Matt just went rocket. Fantastic. And then Bitbird 1.8 says funded my whole year on one trade, and now it's ironically paying for my hiked energy bills, natural gas. Well done, man. Well done. Take a look at natural gas. It's been a sleeper. And finally broke out when we got above these levels. We talked about them, and it's just powered on since then. Which has been pretty damn cool. Look at it go. Woodside Petroleum, big benefactor of that in Australia here. You'll notice great bottoming, 21, and now sitting on 24. So fantastic here for Woodside Petroleum. So we hit the resistance in the Nasdaq. We've hit kind of like a bit of a futures resistance on the S&P. You've got the key levels here today, guys. You're looking for closes underneath 4,400 if you're a bear. If you're a bear on the Nasdaq, you're looking for it underneath 15,000. And both of those points, if we close underneath, I think could trigger further selling levels. Bullishness, you're just looking for a little bit of closure above here. Sorry to hear that, Scott Morgan, about the D-Dog. Let's take a look at the D-Dog. One that doesn't know what this is, Data Dog. Pretty expensive stock at this stage. 140, bit too much. I like at 120. Resistance looks like it has been hit. Look at Chewy. Let's have a look at Chewy. Oh, Scott, no. When you're getting excited about your 0.55%, that's not a good sign. We've got here the support, and that's going to act as a little bit of resistance, I feel. 72. And I'll unfortunately maintain that Chewy might have just bounced off 68, but it also has like, it's a coin flip between that and going back down to the 65. So initial stop hunts here on the retail crowd. Pulled up. Then it's gone a little bit bearish here. Amazing how good some of these levels can be. You'll notice the resistance. If someone scalped that off, they would have done okay. At least you didn't get spanked. That's right, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll leave it there. What I want to say, though, is in these markets, be fast, be nimble, be quick. I said this to the private community today in my daily post. And I basically just said, you've got to be fast, you've got to be nimble, you've got to be quick, because we're in uncertainty. We're in neutralized markets, at least until I believe the 15th of October, when we get those major options expirations. And while we're in uncertainty, what happens is you go bullish, bearish, you get ripped up as a swing trader. So this is the time that you want to pull in your day trades and you want to pull in your scalping trades, and you tend to do better. Indices is probably where I think the best trades are right now. but there are some specific stocks, and I want to wish you all the best. Keep watching the dollar index. That's going to be a big close here for the session. Keep watching, of course, the futures markets and the index themselves, or the indices themselves, and keep watching Tesla, because a blowout past 800, I think, is a very big deal for that stock, and it could continue to ramp through those sessions. And I'm not the hugest fan of Tesla, but the price action, hey, it ain't lying to us over the last couple of weeks. So we've done well there, and I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. Bye for now. See you tomorrow, 1 hour before the US market opens. The best market in the world. Yeah, guys, that's right. It's pretty damn good. And hopefully we get some discounts soon. I'm good with discounts. Bitcoin crowd, keep your heads up. I hope it's all over soon and you start to get that recovery. 3,200 for Ethereum would be an amazing breakout. And of course, KSM, DOT. I love those things. All right, bye for now.